Hi. Have you ever had a song that's shifted the way in which you view the world? Well, today I want you to come by here and get out of your comfort zone as I share with you how a simple song has inspired me to create an organisation dedicated to helping people who feel burnt out by life and are possibly thinking about suicide. My name's Tammy Horton. I'm the CEO and founder of Phoenix Initiative and Come By Here. And today I'm hoping that the topic of suicide is going to be just that little bit easier for you to talk about. So since the dawn of civilization, music has been used to inspire, uplift, and to tell stories. Stories that ignite change in our hearts, connect us to one another, and can save lives. Lives of people who feel like there was once a flame, but now there's just ashes. But all it takes is just one ember to fuel that fire again, to allow us to rise up. And music has been one of those embers for me, helping me to rise like a phoenix from the ashes of my former life. So let me tell you how I got here. In 2019, I was coerced, or should I say, had my arm twisted, into being an audience member for a Young Leaders Award competition. And one of the contestants was talking about wicked problems, things like homelessness, mental health concerns, addiction, and abuse. And they threw out a comment. Well, I don't propose we hold hands and sing Kumbayah, they said. And that got me thinking, well, why not? So being an input gatherer, I consulted the font of all knowledge, the Google verse, and this is what I found. It started as a spiritual plea for help from people who were in despair, in trouble, and being desperately oppressed under racial segregation laws in the southern United States. They were imploring to God, hey, somebody crying, Lord, come by here. Somebody dying, Lord, come by here. When it was first recorded in the 1920s, it was sung with an accent, which made the words, come by here, sound like, yep, you guessed it, Kumbayah. And in the 50s, this group, called the Folksmiths, took Kumbayah and toured around summer camps, teaching the song to thousands of children, cementing its association with kids and with campfires. In the 60s, it was one of the calls to action by the civil rights movement, but now it's just sarcastic shorthand for ridiculing a quest for common ground. And this is what our young contestant was alluding to. You know, I read all of this and a fire of an idea started inside of me. I became triggered. Anytime anyone would badmouth the song, I would literally pounce on people. It's really quite funny when I think back on it now. But the way I figured was that what's so wrong with seeking common ground when even in today's society we've got people who are crying, people who are dying. But why was I so triggered? Well, I'd been one of those people. Someone screaming internally, hey, someone, come by here. I need a hand. As a teenager, actively injuring myself to escape PE lessons because that's where bullies lay wait. I didn't know that I could ask for help. As a mum to 3 young children, sole income earner for my family, and carer to a husband who had a very long list of physical and mental health problems, I was just so exhausted. I didn't have the energy to ask for help. And if I did, the husband would have made things difficult because you see, he was a bully too. But then I had my work. My work was my respite away from my home life. It would boost my fire every single day. But then another bully, and my respite disappeared. My direct requests to senior management asking for help were turned against me, and I was told it was my fault. My fire extinguished. I was plunged into darkness, feeling broken, alone, and not wanting to continue life. My desperation for someone to come by here led me to a doctor and to medication. But I was left to reignite the fire within me on my own. Behaviours of the husband challenging me at every turn. When finally, in 2013, I reached a point of choice. Something had to die, but I had decided it wasn't going to be me. I realised that I could keep doing what I was doing and stay in crisis, or I could do something different. So I did. I set myself, this soul, embodied in a life form, on fire, figuratively speaking, and I killed my former life. Now, I'm not alone in these experiences. Each week, as I help to facilitate an Alternatives to Suicide support group, I hear stories of how people are slipping through the cracks. They're feeling broken and helpless. Each and every one of them would like someone to come by here and give them a hand. These people are searching for meaning, for purpose, and for connection. No amount of pills can give you that. Maybe you felt this way, the way that I did, and these people do. Or you know someone who does. Now, around the world, every 40 seconds, one person dies by suicide. Another 20 to 30 people attempt it, and hundreds more think about it. And for every death, up to 135 people are impacted. That's nearly 90 million people every year. Some of those people will go on to suicide themselves, but the rest will forever be changed. It truly is a global issue. Here in Australia, 75% of suicides are men. They tend to use methods that are more immediate and less reversible than women do. But women are 3 to 4 times more likely to make an attempt. They're often dismissed as just trying to get attention or to manipulate somehow. The first people that notice someone's distress will typically not be a medical professional. It'll be a partner, a parent, a friend, a sibling, a workmate. It may even be you. But hands up if you think that asking someone whether they're thinking about suicide will put the thoughts into their head. You wouldn't be alone if you felt this way. But the research shows that this is not the case. By asking about it, it gives the person an opportunity to talk about their feelings, to express why their life is so dark right now. And if they're not thinking about suicide, it won't make them start thinking about it, but it will make it easier to talk about if it does happen for them. Distress and suicide is not easy to talk about. I get that. But the sooner we connect with and help people who are being burnt out by life when they've lost a job, lost a partner, had a death in the family, or maybe they're experiencing one of the wicked problems I mentioned earlier, then the sooner they can get some help, the less likely any thoughts of suicide are going to turn into actions. The less likely they are to end up in crisis, in hospital, or worse. And the sooner we can stop suicide being the leading cause of death of people aged 15 to 45. We have to talk about suicide to erase the stigma that it holds. Otherwise, we're going to continue to be saying things like, if only I'd known. It came out of the blue. If only they'd said something. So here's something to help you to have those conversations. It's my just ask principle. The A stands for aware and ask. So be aware when things change for someone, when they're having significant life events. And then ask some direct questions. One of them being, are you thinking about suicide, or are you having thoughts of killing yourself? It's not uncommon for people who are in distress to have these thoughts. The S stands for seek to understand and safety. So if they say yes, then seek to understand. Really listen to the problems the person's experiencing. What's brought them to this point of seeing no other way out? What does wanting to die mean for them? And then talk to them about how they can keep themselves safe and who they can reach out to if things become worse. Which leads us to the K for create connections. Connections to professional help. This can be doctors, therapists, helplines, support groups. But it can also be things like crisis accommodation services, grief counsellors, financial counsellors, domestic violence services, career advisors. For the problems that we experience in life, there is help out there. Sometimes we just don't know where to go. Now, this might be one of the hardest things that you have to do, but for the people who are struggling to ask for help, like I did, they need you to do the asking. So just ask. If you need more skills before you have the conversation, then go and do a course. Things like resilience first aid or mental health first aid are two great examples, but there are many other courses out in the market that you can do that can help build your skills. If you want to know more about these two, then reach out to me. I'm more than happy to talk to you about these ones because I deliver these courses. But today, more than ever, more and more people are in distress and they're trying to reignite their fire on their own, but it doesn't have to be this way. You know, the paths that we walk alone are the hardest. So if we can be in community, if we can hold our pain collectively, then we can tap into unknown strengths. Because each and every one of us is an ember of hope for somebody else, shining a light in the darkness. But we have to let go of the myths about suicide. We have to unlearn the conditioning of our past and start on a journey of discovery to find a new way. We have to reconnect with ourselves and with each other because connection is core to our survival. And you know, there's one way that we can connect with one another to bring us back to the whole music thing, and that's to sing a song. So I've reworked the lyrics of Kumbayah as my call to those out there that need some help to come by here, and I might be able to help you. But for all of you out there who are listening, I want you to answer when someone calls. hey, someone, come by here. I need a hand. Someone need you world, come by here.